The city of Castorhaven buzzes with the energy of a new school year. German Han, a quiet and reserved high school senior, walks through the gates of Silverleaf Academy with a determined expression. His focus is clear: excel academically, avoid distractions, and meet the high expectations of his parents. For German, every step is a calculated move toward his future. Sara Lee, in contrast, bursts into the scene with a radiant smile and a carefree laugh. Known for her adventurous spirit and love for writing, Sara embraces the unpredictability of life. As she balances her school responsibilities with her part-time job at a local café, she dreams of becoming a celebrated author. Their worlds collide when they are paired together for a mandatory school project on the history of Castorhaven. German groans inwardly, dreading Sara's seemingly chaotic nature, while Sara is intrigued by his stoic demeanor. Their first meeting is awkward. German, ever the perfectionist, arrives with a detailed outline, expecting Sara to follow his lead. Sara, on the other hand, suggests a creative approach that includes interviews and personal stories. Their differing styles lead to a heated argument, and the project seems doomed before it begins. Despite their rocky start, German and Sara are forced to spend more time together. A visit to Castorhaven's historic library becomes a turning point. As they delve into the city's rich past, Sara notices German's fascination with music archives. When she casually mentions it, German becomes defensive, unwilling to share his passion. However, during a lunch break at a nearby park, Sara opens up about her own struggles. She reveals how her parents pressure her to pursue law, even though her heart lies in storytelling. German, seeing her vulnerability, lets his guard down slightly, admitting that he secretly writes music but fears his parents' disapproval. Their conversation shifts the dynamic between them. Sara's encouraging words resonate with German, and he begins to appreciate her creativity. Meanwhile, Sara sees German's quiet strength and starts to respect his disciplined approach to life. As the project progresses, German and Sara develop a tentative friendship. They spend hours interviewing local residents, exploring landmarks, and piecing together stories for their presentation. Through these activities, they discover hidden sides of each other. Sara realizes that German's meticulous nature stems from his fear of failure, ingrained by years of living under his parents' high expectations. German, in turn, learns that Sara's carefree attitude masks a deep fear of letting down those she loves. One afternoon, while visiting a music shop to gather materials, Sara stumbles upon German testing out a keyboard. His talent amazes her, and she convinces him to play for her. Though reluctant, German eventually gives in. The melody he creates is hauntingly beautiful and for the first time, Sara sees German's true self. Their bond deepens, and they begin to trust each other with their secrets. Sara shares excerpts from her personal journal, while German confides in her about his struggles with self-worth. The school project culminates in a presentation in front of their class. German and Sara combine his structured research with her creative storytelling, producing a compelling narrative about Castorhaven's history. Their classmates and teacher are impressed, and the duo earns top marks. After the presentation, German surprises Sara by thanking her for pushing him out of his comfort zone. Sara, in turn, acknowledges that German's discipline helped her stay focused. Their mutual respect marks the beginning of a genuine friendship. To celebrate their success, Sara invites German to the cafe where she works. Over cups of hot chocolate, they discuss their dreams and fears. German admits he's considering applying to a music program, while Sara talks about submitting her stories to a local writing contest. As they part ways that evening, both feel a sense of fulfillment. Though their journey together has just begun, German and Sara realize they found a confidant in each other, someone who understands and accepts them for who they are. As German and Sara continue their growing friendship, their once strict boundaries begin to blur. However, their paths diverge when a school event forces them into new, uncomfortable situations. The Silverleaf Academy is hosting its annual cultural festival, a major event requiring all students to participate in group activities. German is assigned to the event's music committee, while Sara is put in charge of the creative writing exhibition. German reluctantly agrees to compose an original piece of music for the festival's opening ceremony, a task he views as both an opportunity and a burden. At the same time, Sara faces the challenge of organizing a showcase of students' written works. She's determined to make the exhibit a success, but the lack of enthusiasm from her peers dampens her spirits. As the festival preparations ramp up, Sara notices German's increasing frustration with his committee members who fail to meet his high standards. Wanting to help, she sneaks into the music room one evening to cheer him up. Sara brings snacks and light-hearted jokes, managing to coax a rare laugh from German. They spend the evening talking about their goals and dreams, with German tentatively sharing snippets of his composition. The festival's deadline looms closer, and both German and Sara struggle to balance their workloads. Sara juggles her responsibilities at the café with her festival tasks, while German becomes increasingly consumed by his composition. Their schedules leave little time for their budding friendship, and the distance starts to weigh on them. One afternoon, Sara unexpectedly visits German in the music room, only to find him on the verge of giving up. His perfectionism has taken over, and he's convinced his piece isn't good enough. Sara listens patiently, then surprises German by improvising lyrics to his melody. Her words breathe life into the composition, and German begins to see his work in a new light. Meanwhile, Sara faces her own challenges. A senior criticizes her showcase concept, calling it too ambitious. Though initially disheartened, Sara finds inspiration from German's perseverance and decides to fight for her vision. She revises the exhibition layout and rallies her team, instilling them with her infectious enthusiasm. Their mutual support becomes a lifeline during this challenging period, reinforcing their bond. The day of the cultural festival arrives, transforming Silverleaf Academy into a vibrant celebration of art, music, and creativity. German's composition, performed by the school orchestra, is met with thunderous applause. Sara, watching from the audience, beams with pride. Later, Sara's writing exhibition draws a large crowd, with students and parents praising her innovative presentation. German makes a rare appearance, quietly slipping a note of encouragement into the feedback box. When Sara finds it later, her heart warms at his simple but heartfelt words. Your creativity inspires others. Don't stop being you. As the festival winds down, the two find themselves under the soft glow of fairy lights in the courtyard. For the first time, German lets his guard down completely, admitting that he's grateful to have met Sara. In turn, Sara thanks him for teaching her to believe in her own abilities. Their connection deepens, but both remain unaware of the romantic feelings beginning to blossom between them. The high from the festival quickly fades as reality sets back in. German's parents discover his involvement in the festival and chastise him for neglecting his academics. Their harsh words reignite his insecurities, and he retreats into his shell, avoiding Sara in the days that follow. Sara, hurt by German's sudden coldness, tries to reach out but is met with silence. Determined to understand what's going on, she confronts him after school one day. German finally opens up about his parents' expectations and his fear of disappointing them. Sara reassures him that his passion for music is not a weakness but a strength. She encourages him to stand up for his dreams, even if it means challenging his parents' expectations. Her unwavering support rekindles German's courage, and he begins to consider pursuing music seriously. At the same time, Sara faces her own struggle when her cafe job is threatened due to declining sales. The cafe owner, impressed by Sara's creativity, asks for her help in revamping the menu and marketing. Sara takes on the challenge, drawing inspiration from German's determination. The two supporting each other through their bond stronger than ever. After the festival, Sara and German's lives take a complicated turn. German, inspired by Sara's encouragement, begins secretly working on more compositions, using music as an emotional outlet. Meanwhile, Sara juggles her schoolwork, cafe job, and the responsibility of implementing her ideas to save the cafe from closing down. Their paths cross one evening when Sara invites German to the cafe for his feedback on a new menu she's designed. As they test her creations, their casual banter gives way to deeper conversations about their fears and dreams. Sara shares her childhood memory of the café as her sanctuary, a place where she felt safe and free. German, moved by her story, confides in her about his strained relationship with his parents and the weight of their expectations. The moment feels intimate, and both sense a shift in their connection. However, neither acknowledges it aloud. When Sara offers German a notebook to jot down his musical ideas, he accepts it with a rare smile. That notebook becomes a symbol of their growing bond. The harmony between German and Sara begins to crack when a misunderstanding arises. One afternoon, German's strict father unexpectedly visits the school, discovering his son's involvement in music. Furious, he berates German in front of his classmates, labeling his passion as a distraction. Humiliated and angry, German lashes out at Sara, accusing her of filling his head with unrealistic dreams. Sara, hurt by his words, retreats, leaving German to grapple with his guilt. Over the next few days, the distance between them grows, and both feel the void acutely. Sara pours her energy into the café, trying to distract herself, while German isolates himself, avoiding both music and Sara. A turning point comes when Sara overhears German's classmates mocking him for his father's outburst. Unable to stay silent, she defends him fiercely, surprising everyone, including German. Later, German approaches Sara to apologize, his voice tinged with regret. Though Sara forgives him, the incident leaves a lingering tension in their friendship. As the school term progresses, German and Sara find themselves partnered for a school project, forcing them to spend time together despite the unresolved tension. Their assignment, centered on creating a presentation about personal identity, feels ironic given their ongoing struggles with self-discovery. During a brainstorming session, Sara challenges German to be honest about his dreams. In return, German urges Sara to confront her fears about the café's future. Their discussions grow heated, each pushing the other to face uncomfortable truths. Yet, amidst the arguments, there's an undeniable undercurrent of mutual admiration. One evening, as they work late at the library, German unexpectedly plays a new melody he's composed. The hauntingly beautiful tune leaves Sara speechless. German admits it was inspired by her reflection of her resilience and optimism. Sara, overwhelmed, fights back tears. The unspoken feelings between them hang heavily in the air, but neither takes the next step. Sara's hard work at the cafe finally pays off when her revamped menu and marketing ideas attract new customers. The cafe becomes a bustling hub, much to the owner's delight. To celebrate, Sara hosts an open mic night, inviting local talents to perform. Though hesitant, German agrees to play his new composition at Sara's insistence. The event is a success, with German's performance receiving a standing ovation. For the first time, he experiences validation for his passion, and his confidence begins to grow. Watching him shine on stage, Sara feels a surge of pride and something more. After the event, German thanks Sara for pushing him out of his comfort zone. Their conversation takes a tender turn, with German admitting that he's never had someone believe in him the way Sara does. Sara, in turn, confesses that German's determination inspires her to be braver. As they walk home together under the moonlight, their hands brush briefly, sending a jolt through both of them. Neither pulls away, but neither dares to take the next step either, leaving their feelings simmering beneath the surface. Just as things begin to settle, life throws another curveball. German receives an invitation to audition for a prestigious music academy, an opportunity that could change his life. However, the audition falls on the same day as an important school competition where Sara is set to present a major project. German is torn between pursuing his dream and supporting Sara, who has always been his anchor. Sara, learning about the audition, urges German to go, promising that she'll be fine on her own. Yet, deep down, she wishes he could be there for her. On the day of the audition, German surprises Sara by showing up at the competition first. "You've always believed in me," he says. "Now it's my turn to believe in you." His words give Sara the confidence to deliver her presentation flawlessly, earning her first place. Afterward, Sara rushes to German's audition, arriving just in time to see him play with all his heart. Watching him on stage, Sara realizes that her feelings for him go beyond friendship. German, spotting her in the crowd, knows that her presence makes him stronger. Following the emotional highs of Sara's competition and German's audition, reality sets in. German is notified that he passed the initial stage of the audition for the prestigious music academy, but it comes with a catch. He needs to prepare an extensive portfolio and undergo a grueling final evaluation in the capital city. Meanwhile, Sara's success at the competition catches the attention of a local entrepreneur who offers to invest in the café. While this should be a victory, it comes with strings attached. The investor proposes drastic changes that would strip the café of its nostalgic charm. Sara is torn between securing the café's future and staying true to its legacy. The weight of these decisions begins to strain their relationship. German buries himself in music, often staying late at school or locking himself in his room, leaving Sara feeling distant. Sara, overwhelmed by the investor's demands, starts doubting her ability to preserve the café. They meet less frequently, and when they do, their conversations are clipped, each too preoccupied to notice the other's struggles. One evening, Sara visits German unannounced and finds him exhausted, his fingers blistered from hours of practicing. She gently bandages his hands, her touch breaking through his facade. German confesses that he's terrified of failing, of disappointing the people who believe in him. Sara, moved, reassures him that his worth isn't tied to his success, urging him to take breaks and trust his talent. Their bond deepens, but the unresolved tension between their personal challenges lingers like a shadow. As German prepares for his trip to the capital, Sara becomes increasingly consumed by the café's transformation. The investor insists on changing the menu, redesigning the interior, and even rebranding the café. Though these ideas are modern and appealing, Sara feels they erase the soul of the place she holds dear. German, sensing Sara's inner conflict but unsure how to help, grows frustrated. He suggests she stand up to the investor, but Sara snaps back, accusing him of not understanding the stakes. Their argument leaves both feeling hurt and isolated. The following day, Sara tries to apologize, but German, overwhelmed with his own anxieties, brushes her off. Their dynamic shifts further when German's childhood friend, Elena, returns to town. Elena, a confident and accomplished violinist, offers to help German with his audition. While her intentions are genuine, Sara feels insecure and left out. At the cafe, Sara overhears Elena praising German's talent and dismissing Sara's understanding of music as naive. Though Sara pretends not to care, her self-doubt grows. She begins to question her place in German's life, especially as he seems to rely more on Elena. The pressure on both Sara and German reaches a boiling point. Sara's investor gives her an ultimatum: accept the proposed changes or risk losing the deal entirely. Meanwhile, German's mentor advises him to focus solely on his audition, even if it means cutting ties with distractions, including Sara. Their once solid connection begins to fracture. Sara avoids German, throwing herself into work to avoid confronting her fears. German, frustrated by her absence and grappling with his mentor's advice, begins to question whether their relationship is holding him back. During a heated confrontation, German accuses Sara of not supporting him, while Sara counters that German has been pushing her away. The fight ends with Sara storming off, leaving German alone with his guilt. That night, German tries to find solace in music, but every note feels hollow without Sara's presence. Meanwhile, Sara sits in the empty cafe, staring at the old photographs on the wall and wondering if she's fighting a losing battle. Despite their strained relationship, both German and Sara find ways to support each other from a distance. German sends Sara a sketch of the cafe as it was, along with a note that reads, "Don't let them take away what makes it special." Sara, touched, realizes that German still believes in her vision even when she doesn't. Sara, in turn, leaves a small gift for German: a new set of guitar strings and a handwritten letter encouraging him to embrace his passion fearlessly. Though they don't speak directly, these gestures begin to mend the rift between them. On the day of his trip to the capital, German finds Sara waiting for him at the bus station. She wishes him luck, her voice trembling with emotion. German, unable to hide his feelings, hugs her tightly, whispering, "Thank you for always being here." As the bus pulls away, Sara watches him leave, her heart heavy but hopeful. She returns to the cafe with renewed determination, vowing to find a middle ground with the investor. German, on the other hand, arrives in the capital, ready to prove himself but carrying Sara's unwavering support in his heart. In the capital, German dives headfirst into the demanding world of auditions. The environment is fiercely competitive, filled with prodigies and seasoned musicians who exude confidence. Despite his raw talent, German feels like a small fish in an enormous ocean. He practices tirelessly, often losing himself in the rhythm of his guitar, but the pressure to prove himself looms large. Meanwhile, Sara struggles to finalize the deal with the investor. Her compromise involves retaining key elements of the cafe's nostalgic charm while incorporating modern touches. However, the investor's relentless insistence on rebranding makes Sara feel like she's selling out. The cafe's elderly regulars voice their concerns, amplifying her guilt. Their separation begins to take a toll. German misses Sara's steadying presence, while Sara yearns for German's encouraging words. Despite their longing, neither reaches out, both unsure of how to bridge the growing distance. One evening, German performs an impromptu piece for his fellow candidates, drawing a small crowd. His unique style stands out, earning him a rare moment of validation. That night, he pens a heartfelt message to Sara but hesitates to send it, unsure if she'd even want to hear from him. Back in the small town, Sara pushes forward with the cafe renovation despite her misgivings. She designs a corner dedicated to its history, a space filled with photos, handwritten notes from regulars, and a replica of the original menu. This decision appeases both the investor and the loyal patrons, but Sara still feels the sting of compromise. German, on the other hand, navigates the final stages of his audition process. The judges are intimidating, and their critique sharpens with each round. During his performance, German falters, his nerves getting the better of him. He recalls Sara's words about trusting his talent and manages to finish strong, though he's unsure if it's enough. After the audition, German wanders the bustling streets of the capital, feeling a mix of relief and emptiness. He stumbles upon a small cafe with a striking resemblance to Sara's and decides to visit. The familiar warmth of the place reminds him of home and Sara's unwavering dedication. Inspired, German writes a song about their shared memories, pouring his heart into the melody. Back home, Sara discovers a package at her door, a recording of German's new song. Listening to the heartfelt lyrics brings tears to her eyes. She realizes how much she misses him and decides to rekindle their connection. Sara sends German a voice message, thanking him for the song and apologizing for their misunderstanding. German, overjoyed to hear from her, responds immediately. Their conversation is tentative at first, but they soon fall back into their familiar rhythm, sharing their fears, successes, and regrets. German shares the news that he made it through to the next stage of the audition, a final showcase in front of prominent industry figures. Sara, proud yet nervous for him, promises to be there in spirit. Meanwhile, Sara's cafe reopens with its new design. The launch event is a success, drawing in both regulars and new customers. Though the cafe has changed, Sara feels a sense of accomplishment knowing she's kept its essence alive. Her friends and family praise her resilience, and for the first time in weeks, she feels at peace. German's final showcase arrives. The atmosphere is electric, the judges imposing. As German steps onto the stage, he carries Sara's voice in his mind, urging him to trust himself. His performance is raw, emotional, and uniquely his own. The audience is captivated, and even the stern judges seem moved. After the performance, German receives overwhelming applause, but the results won't be announced until later. Despite the uncertainty, German feels a newfound confidence. He decides to return home to share his journey with Sara. When German arrives back in town, he finds Sara waiting for him at the train station. Their reunion is heartfelt, a blend of laughter, tears, and relief. They spend the evening catching up, sharing stories about their time apart and the lessons they've learned. German visits the revamped café and is impressed by Sara's ability to blend old and new. He praises her courage and creativity, assuring her that she's honored its legacy. In turn, Sara encourages German to celebrate his achievements, regardless of the audition's outcome. As they walk through the town, German surprises Sara with a performance of the song he wrote for her, this time in front of the café's patrons. The heartfelt melody moves everyone, and Sara realizes just how much German has grown. Their bond feels stronger than ever, forged through their individual struggles and shared support. Both Sara and German understand that while their paths may diverge, their love remains a constant source of strength and inspiration. After their heartfelt reunion, German and Sara, now reaffirming their love, begin to discuss their individual aspirations and how they can support one another while moving forward. Sara expresses her desire to expand the café's reach through modern marketing techniques and collaborations with local artists. She envisions a community hub that celebrates creativity while staying true to its roots. German, still waiting for the results of his final showcase, finds himself plagued by self-doubt. Despite the applause he received, the competition's fierce caliber makes him question if he did enough to stand out. Sara notices his restlessness and encourages him to keep pursuing his passion, emphasizing that the journey itself is a victory. Their days are filled with joy, but a shadow looms over them. The café investor, unsatisfied with the modest redesign, begins pressuring Sara to expand further, suggesting a franchise model. Sara is torn. While expansion could bring financial security, it also threatens to dilute the café's essence. German, sensing Sara's internal conflict, offers his support. Together, they brainstorm ways to negotiate with the investor while protecting her vision. Their teamwork not only strengthens their bond, but also rekindles Sara's confidence in her ability to stand her ground. The results of German's final showcase are announced, and to his surprise, he's offered a spot in an elite music program abroad. The opportunity is a dream come true, but it comes with a difficult decision, leaving Sara behind for an extended period. German shares the news with Sara, who is overjoyed but also visibly concerned about the implications of their separation. She assures him that she will support him no matter what, but German senses her apprehension. To lighten the mood, Sara invites German to perform at the café's first open mic night. The event is a resounding success, drawing a large crowd and solidifying the café's reputation as a creative haven. German's performance, a mix of his old songs and a new piece inspired by Sara, captivates the audience. After the event, German proposes an idea to Sara: to use the time apart as an opportunity for personal growth, with the promise of reuniting stronger than ever. He suggests that they create a time capsule filled with memories and letters to be opened when they meet again. The romantic gesture moves Sara, and they spend the evening writing heartfelt notes and collecting small mementos. As German's departure date approaches, the couple savors every moment together. They visit their favorite spots in the town, reminiscing about their journey and dreaming about the future. Sara, despite her sadness, remains supportive, knowing that this opportunity is essential for German's growth as an artist. On the day of German's departure, Sara accompanies him to the train station. Their goodbye is filled with promises and tears, each vowing to stay connected and work toward their dreams. German gives Sara a small music box engraved with the words, "For every moment we're apart, let this play the song of my heart." After German leaves, Sara throws herself into the café's operations to distract herself from the loneliness. She begins collaborating with local artisans, hosting workshops, and launching a social media campaign that highlights the café's unique charm. Her efforts draw attention from the local press, earning her accolades for her innovation and dedication. German, now immersed in the rigorous music program, faces new challenges and meets individuals who push him to expand his creative boundaries. Though the program is demanding, he finds solace in writing letters to Sara, sharing his triumphs and struggles. Months pass, and both Sara and German find themselves at pivotal moments in their lives. Sara's café thrives, becoming a beloved cornerstone of the community. However, the investor's demands grow increasingly unreasonable, threatening to overshadow her success. In one tense meeting, Sara finally stands up to the investor, asserting her vision and refusing to compromise further. Her bold stance impresses the investor, who agrees to back off, giving Sara full creative control. German excels in his program, gaining recognition from his mentors and peers. His performances reflect his emotional depth, often inspired by his longing for Sara and the memories they share. One evening, after a particularly moving performance, German is approached by a renowned music producer who offers him a recording deal. Faced with the opportunity of a lifetime, German feels conflicted. The deal requires him to extend his stay abroad, delaying his return to Sara. Torn between love and ambition, he reaches out to Sara for guidance. Sara, though heartbroken by the prospect of more time apart, encourages German to seize the opportunity. She reassures him that their love can withstand the distance and that she's proud of his achievements. Her unwavering support gives German the confidence to move forward. As they continue their separate journeys, both Sara and German hold on to the hope that their love will one day bring them back together. As the distance grows between German and Sara, both begin to face unexpected challenges that test their resolve. Sara's café continues to thrive, but her relentless work begins to take a toll on her health. Late nights and stressful negotiations leave her feeling drained, yet she refuses to slow down, driven by her commitment to the café's success and her longing to make German proud. One evening, Sara collapses from exhaustion while organizing a community event. Her friends and employees insist that she seek medical help. A doctor advises her to rest and reduce her workload, but Sara struggles to delegate responsibilities, fearing a loss of control. Meanwhile, German, now deep into his music program, is thrust into a world of competition and high expectations. His mentors push him to explore new genres and collaborate with other artists. One of these collaborations introduces him to a talented violinist, Naomi, who shares a similar artistic vision. Their musical chemistry is undeniable, sparking rumors among their peers about a potential romantic connection. German, however, remains steadfast in his love for Sara. He writes to her about his progress and assures her of his devotion, though he hesitates to mention Naomi, fearing that the rumors might cause unnecessary worry. Sara, on the other hand, begins to sense German's growing emotional distance, though she attributes it to the pressures of his program. As Naomi and German's collaboration garners attention, the rumors about their relationship reach Sara through social media posts and whispers from mutual acquaintances. Though Sara trusts German, the uncertainty gnaws at her, especially in moments of loneliness. Determined not to let her insecurities consume her, Sara focuses on the café and begins planning a major renovation project to expand its outdoor seating area. The project is costly and requires additional funding, forcing Sara to revisit her agreement with the investor. During a meeting, the investor proposes a lucrative deal that includes branding the café as part of a larger franchise. Sara is torn. Accepting the deal could alleviate her financial burdens, but it would compromise the café's identity. German, unaware of Sara's struggles, faces his own dilemma when Naomi confesses her feelings for him after a late-night rehearsal. Shocked and uncomfortable, German makes it clear that his heart belongs to Sara, but the incident strains their working relationship. Feeling overwhelmed, German finally opens up to Sara in a heartfelt letter, explaining the situation with Naomi and his growing fears about their future. Sara, deeply moved by his honesty, responds with words of encouragement, reminding German of their promise to overcome challenges together. The weeks that follow are marked by intense self-reflection for both German and Sara. German channels his emotions into his music, creating a piece that captures the complexity of his feelings, love, longing, and determination. The composition becomes a turning point in his program, earning him a standing ovation at a prestigious recital and solidifying his reputation as a rising star. Sara, inspired by German's resilience, decides to confront the investor once and for all. In a bold move, she pitches an alternative plan that emphasizes the café's unique charm while allowing for controlled growth. Her passion and determination win over the investor, who agrees to fund the project without imposing additional restrictions. Despite their individual victories, the physical and emotional distance continues to weigh heavily on them. Sara begins to question whether their love can survive the prolonged separation, while German wonders if his success is worth the sacrifice. On a particularly difficult evening, Sara finds solace in the music box German gave her before leaving. The familiar melody reminds her of their shared dreams and reignites her hope. Meanwhile, German stumbles upon the time capsule they created and decides to add a new letter, promising to read it with Sara when they reunite. As German's program approaches its conclusion, he receives an unexpected invitation to perform at an international music festival in Sara's city. Though the event is highly competitive, German sees it as a chance to not only showcase his talent, but also surprise Sara. Without revealing his plans, German arrives in the city a few days before the festival and visits Sara's café. The sight of her bustling around, her laughter filling the space, brings tears to his eyes. He decides to wait until the festival to reveal himself, wanting the moment to be perfect. The night of the festival arrives, and Sara attends, unaware that German is performing. When his name is announced, Sara is stunned. As German takes the stage and begins to play his heartfelt composition, the audience is captivated by the raw emotion in his music. Sara realizes that the piece is a reflection of their journey, filled with the highs and lows of their love. Overwhelmed, she rushes backstage after the performance, where German is waiting. Their reunion is filled with tears, laughter, and promises to never let distance separate them again. German presents Sara with the updated time capsule, and together, they read the letters they wrote during their time apart. Each word reaffirms their love and strengthens their bond, setting the stage for a new chapter in their lives. The air was electric with the energy of the music festival's grand finale. The applause from German's breathtaking performance still echoed in the venue, and the audience buzzed with admiration for his talent. As he stepped off the stage, his heart pounded, not from the performance, but from the anticipation of seeing Sara. Sara stood frozen in the crowd, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't believe her eyes. German, her German, was the star of the night. The raw emotion in his music had spoken directly to her heart, rekindling every memory and every promise they had shared. She pushed through the throng of people, her eyes locked on him. Backstage, German anxiously scanned the crowd, his heart racing with hope. When he saw Sara running toward him, everything else faded away. She threw herself into his arms, her tears soaking his jacket. "German," she sobbed, her voice breaking. "You're here. You're really here." He held her tightly, his own eyes glistening. "I promised you, Sara, no matter where life took us, I'd always find my way back to you." Their embrace was met with cheers from the crew and festival attendees who witnessed the heartfelt reunion. German cupped Sara's face, his thumb brushing away her tears. "I wrote that piece for you," he confessed. "Every note, every chord. It's our story, Sara. I couldn't have done this without you." The days following the festival felt like a dream. German and Sara spent every moment together, rediscovering the connection that had kept them going during their time apart. They talked for hours about their individual journeys, Sara's struggles with the café and German's challenges in the music program. German surprised Sara with a visit to her café, where he was amazed at how much she had accomplished. The renovations she had overseen made the café even more inviting, a reflection of her creativity and determination. He helped her prepare a special event to celebrate the café's new look, playing a private performance for her loyal customers. Sara, in turn, supported German as he prepared for the next stage of his career. His performance at the festival had attracted the attention of international music producers, opening doors to exciting opportunities. Despite his growing fame, German was adamant about staying close to Sara. One evening, as they sat under the stars, German pulled out the time capsule they had created years ago. He handed Sara the letter he had written during their separation. "I added something to our time capsule," he said, his voice soft. "A promise for our future." Sara unfolded the letter, her hands trembling. German had written about his dreams of a life where they could build something together, a life where their passions and love intertwined. "I want us to create that life together, Sara," German said, pulling out a small velvet box. Inside was a simple, elegant ring. "You've been my inspiration, my anchor, and my greatest love. Will you marry me?" Sara's breath hitched as she looked into his eyes, filled with sincerity and hope. Tears streamed down her face as she nodded, unable to find the words. "Yes, German," she finally whispered, her voice shaking. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." The moment was perfect, intimate, and genuine, just like their love story. They sealed their promise with a kiss, surrounded by the music of the night and the warmth of their love. German and Sara's lives blended seamlessly as they supported each other's dreams. German continued to rise in the music world, using his platform to advocate for young artists and give back to the community. Sara's Café became a beloved landmark, known not just for its coffee, but also for the love story that inspired it. They traveled together, blending German's musical tours with Sara's passion for exploring new flavors and cultures. Each adventure brought them closer, solidifying their bond and creating memories they would treasure forever. On the anniversary of their reunion, they buried their updated time capsule under a tree in the café's garden, a symbol of their journey and the love that had overcome every obstacle. "Here's to us," German said, raising a glass of Sara's signature latte. "To us," Sara replied, her eyes shining with love. Filled with trials, growth, and unwavering devotion, was a testament to the power of love and perseverance, a true celebration of finding one's soulmate and building a life together. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more delightful stories.